How are we? Hello everyone. Welcome back to another Deadline stream. It is Game Week 34, my final chip of the season, the final chip for a lot of us. I hope you're doing well. Free hit week. Whether you're on free hit or whether you are not, we will talk about lots of stuff. The blank game week is here. Don't pay too much attention to the free hit draft that is currently up on stream because I've been making changes and I've got a random group of players in my draft at the moment. So things are definitely going to change. My team is far from locked in ahead of the deadline. But before we look and talk about game week 34, it is nice to see so many of you in. So let's say hello to some of you in the chat. And yeah, we will say hello and then we will crack on with the rest of the stream. Hello to Ian. Hello to Wade. Hello to... who else have we got? Sorry, Callum. We've got Fiona. We've got Adrian. We've got Saksham. Hello to all the members and moderators in. We've also got Ozspike. Hello to you. And good afternoon to all of you joining. And to everyone else, we have got The Gamer, Champy, Selena, Victor, Steve, Rhino, Yusuf, Sealand, Farm, Nick, Haresh, Joel, Kingfisher, Matt, Fiona, Alan, FPL Doctor, Kevin, Ash J, Ruben, Ivy, Mr. Was Up, Amir, Jason, Paul, Fahim, Wendell, Adrian, Shalim, Mark, Yusuf, Luca, EYD, and Barney. Hello to you all. Sorry. Hello everyone. I hope you are all doing well. So game week 34, free hit is active for me. Again, if you are playing a chip this week, do yourself a favor and please make sure you just go and check that you have actually activated the chip that you want to play. Don't be like the people who last week, who said that they were going to play a certain chip and then didn't activate it. So make sure your chip is definitely played before the deadline. So my draft is like it is at the moment, but I'm going back and forth on a couple of spots, particularly the Cunha and Pedro Porro Mavropanos spot. It's basically these three players that we are talking about. Pedro Porro, Mavropanos, Van Dijk will make up my two remaining defenders. And then it's what I do with the Mateus Cunha spot that basically, is what I'm looking at. Cunha wasn't, again, he was pictured arriving at the training ground, but he wasn't pictured in training. So I'm not sure I can go there. I'm not hugely on board with Liverpool, given that it sounds like we will get a pretty full strength lineup for Crystal Palace in this game, who are difficult to break down on the best of days. And I'm not sure I want a triple up on Liverpool, who are not attacking particularly well at the moment. Although I think Gakpo, Salah, Szoboszlai, Van Dijk all have a lot to recommend them individually. I'm just not sure how I feel about a triple up on Liverpool in that game. Although the obvious thing here is that I've got a triple up on Spurs. I've got a triple up on Spurs, which I'm not feeling great about. I thought the most I really wanted was two, but I do think that all three of them individually, again, it's just like with the Liverpool players. As a collective, I don't particularly want to have three Spurs players in my team, but I think individually there's quite a lot to recommend them. So Porro, Xavi, Solanke, I think there's enough to recommend them all individually, but Yeah, and I also don't have loads of convictions over the other picks. Like Solanke could definitely come out, but outside of that, I don't have loads of conviction. Like you've got Gakpo, but he's been pretty poor. Like I put Gakpo in my drafts, and basically everyone tells me that Gakpo's been rubbish. Why would I pick Gakpo? Then like I could have Gibbs White, but he goes away to Sunderland tonight. I could have Harry Wilson, but he hasn't scored in the past couple of games. Where else could I go? There's just quite a lot of uncertainty around a lot of the picks, including Spurs, right? I'm not for any minute going to say that Spurs picks are actually a good idea. So at the moment, I've gone with Solanke and I've gone with Xavi. I quite like them both. I don't know. I prefer Xavi. Like if I'm pick, Xavi is locked in my team. Like there's no way I'm going to get to the deadline, and unless there was some injury news in the next 2 hours, Xavi Simons is going to be in my team at the deadline. That he is one of the locked players in my free here. Absolutely, he is the Spurs attacker that I'm going to go for. Solanke is not. Pedro Porro is not. Cunha is not. Mavropanos is not. I would say Watkins isn't, but I would be very surprised if I take him out. Cunha has gone back in just because I have exact money for this draft, so it felt kind of nice. But yeah, I probably won't end up with Cunha. I'm not sure it feels like it's worth the risk, but I don't see loads of mids that I think are particularly worth that risk. Like Gakpo over Wirtz. I haven't seen loads from Wirtz recently to particularly feel like he is worthwhile, if I'm honest. I don't think he's been great from an FPL output over the past few weeks, nor is Gakpo, right? But there is a price difference between them. Will Mbeumo start? Almost certainly. He didn't start in game week 32. And Manchester United were much worse without him in the team. I very think, good words. I very much think that Mbeumo will start this game. Would I sell Timber? Yeah, so Timber has been ruled out. So, yeah, I'd be taking or doing a transfer to not have Timber, basically. I have wondered about going Ben White as well. People saying Triple Spurs is crazy. You're probably right. But it's if you had to take out one Spurs player and drop it down to two, who would you drop it to? Like, who would be the first one that you would take out? Triple Spurs is insane. Danso is differential. I'm not going on Danso. Defenders rarely there's less DEFCON against Wolves than in other games. I wouldn't be going Danso. Solanke, Porro, Solanke. Most of you would take out Solanke if you were taking out one, which is probably fair. But I also don't love the replacements for him as much. Who would you put in place of Solanke? And again, it can be a midfielder, so I'm happy to play a 3-5-2. So everyone's saying drop Solanke, but who then goes in? That I'm so convinced is also a good pick this week. Isak, I mean, we haven't seen anything from him. Isak, Thiago, Gibbs White, Rice, Gibbs White, Rice. Like, there's a lot of mix of players. I know people just don't like Solanke, and I completely get that. They have conceded a lot of goals over the past few weeks down the centre. So if I get the Fantasy Football Scout members area up, and I will show you chances conceded from different areas of the pitch over the past few weeks. And I'm really hoping that the data backs up. Let's go last 6 matches, for example. Cool. Just let that load. Brobby, like I don't mind Brobby, like I don't mind Wilson, like I don't mind Gakpo, I don't mind Gibbs White, but I don't mind them. I don't feel really strongly on any of them as particularly fantastic picks this week. So if I don't feel particularly fantastic on them, I could choose to use that spot to target the best fixture on paper, which is Wolves away. Now, of course, we are forgetting or ignoring the fact that that fixture is Spurs, which doesn't feel particularly great. But for anyone who watched the Spurs game against Brighton last weekend, they were better. They were better. They were definitely better in that game. So, shots conceded. Wolves 26 shots conceded from the centre over the past 6 weeks. I think they've conceded more goals from strikers over the past few weeks. Like shots inside the box, again, they are right up there. Big chances, like they've conceded 28 big chances. They've conceded 28 big chances over the past 6 matches, which is 8 more than Newcastle, who sit second, is 12 more than Burnley and Fulham, who also sit in the top 4. They have conceded 28 big chances in that time. Now, I am not saying that Dom Solanke is in good form at all, and it is Spurs, 100% it's Spurs. But that is the reasoning why people are considering Spurs players. I do agree a triple up feels one too many. I am just not certain. So Van Dijk is currently benched because I just think Palace score. But then I also think Wolves score, and I also probably think Everton score. This team has just not looked good to look at, so displeasing on the eye. Why? Because of the players in it. I mean, we've got triple Spurs. But Wolves has a good record playing against Spurs. Spurs hasn't won against Wolves in the last 6. Yeah, I've also seen that data. It's not something I particularly mind in terms of like historic performances against a certain club. It's not something I massively look at. But yeah. I need to organise the colours properly. We will do that once I've actually decided. Brian Mbeumo looks like he's available. Yes, he does. The reason Van Dijk is benched is just because it was like this. And I haven't sold Van Dijk since I took him out of my lineup. So this is where we're at the moment. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think I probably will end up with Solanke. I'll probably end up with double or triple Spurs. It's the Gakpo spot, which I don't particularly love. But I feel like only one Liverpool is probably not... I mean, I know you're basing it on individuals, right? But only one Liverpool is probably not the best way to go. Porro just looked so attacking in that game. He could have scored again as well. He very nearly scored twice. He takes a lot of set pieces. Wolves concede a lot of chances. Spurs looked better last week. So, I mean, Palace as well don't massively concede loads of chances from... they do actually. Headed chances. Set pieces less so. I mean, let's have a look at all matches, right? Like, they do actually concede quite a lot. Interesting. I thought Palace would be better for chances conceded from set pieces, but why don't I just triple up on the Arsenal defence? Yeah, I have considered that. There's just not very much upside on any of them. At least if Arsenal do concede, Porro, Mavropanos, Van Dijk do have DEFCON attacking threat to go with it, whereas someone like Saliba just doesn't really have any of that going for him. Basically, Saliba or Watkins, start one. I would start Watkins over Saliba. Hincapié, thoughts? Yeah, I think Calafiori is unlikely to start, so I don't mind it. Ben White looked very likely to start because of the Timber injury news. If I wasn't picking Raya, who would I pick? I would go either Hermansen or I would go, Hermansen or probably Rose. One of the two. In your previous seasons, Harry, you were top 10k. What rank were you at this stage of the season? I was in the top 10k by this stage, I think, pretty much every year. So it's as much as it's not a huge point gap, with no chips left after this week, with about 65% still having an attacking chip and a bench boost or a triple captain to play on top of me over the last few weeks. A top 10k seems very unlikely now, unfortunately. I mean, it's not impossible, like 20k to 10k in the final 5 weeks of the season, but I would need this week to go pretty well for me. Like, I would need to take up 5 to 10 points minimum. Oh, no, 5 points minimum, somewhere between 5 and 10 points off that deficit this week. I basically need a green arrow every single week, apart from 36, when other people will be playing chips, effectively is what I need. Solanke or Watkins if I had to choose? Probably Watkins. To afford Solanke, you need to downgrade Van Dijk. I mean, yeah, like, if Van Dijk's your first sub, you don't need to have Van Dijk. Yeah, I don't think I'll end up keeping Gakpo. But I don't really know who I want in that spot. Yeah, I don't massively know who I actually want. Yeah, like people saying downgrade Van Dijk and spend it on the team. The reason Van Dijk is in there is because I might still end up on him on my starting 11. If I don't, I will probably downgrade him. Issue is that I don't have loads of places I'd want to spend the money, apart from the Gakpo spot. And of course, spreading it around the bench, for example, and getting a playing backup goalkeeper and stuff like that. But yeah, if I don't, whichever defender I end up having first sub, I'll probably downgrade them. But it might be Van Dijk in for Porro. It might be Van Dijk in for Mavropanos. I could play a back five. But as Joseph in the chat is saying, Sarr always scores against Liverpool. They have a great record. I think he's got 7 goals in 9 against them. Sorry, one sec. Is Watkins nailed? No, but I don't think I'll take him out, if I'm honest. Do I think Thiago's a better pick than Watkins, since Emery will be focused on Europa and could sub him out early? Yeah, I have no issue with Thiago. It does just feel like a gamble that I'd be wanting to go against on free hit, but I have no issue with him. So why not pick Sarr? Because he doesn't always, he's not guaranteed to score. He hasn't started the past 2 games. He's not guaranteed to start as well. He's not guaranteed the minutes, which puts me off him. Yeah, I mean, that Gakpo spot is massively open for me. I would quite like a second player on Monday night. I quite like the idea of having probably Mbermo now, which would mean I have to go with Mavropanos. It could be Iliman and Dye, but if I'm going Mavropanos, I don't think I'm going to go Iliman and Dye. So yeah, there's a few moving parts. Like, I don't want a West Ham defender against an Everton midfielder, particularly. So yeah, if I'm on free hit, I don't want to play players against each other, really. I want to pick outcomes. So, I mean, it doesn't matter so much of attackers. Like if you're going Watkins Wilson, then I don't have an issue with that. Like if you're going Salah and Ismail Assar, again, I don't have an issue with that. But someone just saying in the chat that Gakpo's minutes are shocking. But his minutes have got much better over the past couple of weeks. So if I show you like Gakpo's minutes with the Ekitike injury, 82, 90, 90, 83. Like before that, they're a bit mixed. He's still been starting pretty much every single game, so I have no reason why that would change. The issue is I don't see... I think Liverpool Palace is more likely to be a low-scoring game than a high-scoring game. And as a result, double attack and no defense doesn't really fit with the way I could... I would predict it. Yeah, I mean, people are talking about Isak and Rio. I expect them both to... I expect one to sub on for the other. So, yeah, I would expect like Gakpo to start on the left, Isak start through the middle with Salah on the right, and then Rio to come on for Isak and Gakpo to go up front. That's kind of what we're expecting. Is there anyone you want but can't afford? Not really. If I had more money, no. No, actually, there isn't. It would just be spent on my bench, basically. I'm pretty happy with what I'm able to afford. Like, Rodgers is fine, but I don't want to double up on Villa, and I think Watkins is a better pick than Rodgers. So I'm not going to own Rodgers for purely that reason. Not because I think Rodgers is a bad pick. I just think that Watkins is better than Rodgers, and I don't want to double up on Villa. So as a result, I have Watkins. Go with Szoboszlai, so you have 100% penalty shares. You might take them over Salah. Yeah, don't have an issue with that. It sounds like there is a good chance Szoboszlai might take penalties. Yeah, I could go with Szoboszlai over Gakpo. It's quite boring, but sorry. Yeah, let me... Overlooking Tarkowski, given how bad West Ham are at corners. They've been better recently. I don't particularly want to target West Ham. Again, targeting teams that have a lot to play for at the moment is not the best strategy. Like, if you're looking at the fixtures that we're playing, I know, like, Newcastle, Palace, Wolves, Everton, Brentford, like, some of them have got stuff to play for, but it's not as much on the line as maybe the other clubs do. The only difference is that you chose Rodgers instead of Watkins to save money. I think that's fine. Like, if you don't have the money for Watkins, Rodgers is a fine pick, but I would prefer Watkins. Who to bench from Burmo? Anderson, Wilson, or Enzo Lafie? I probably would bench Enzo Lafie, I think. You picked Salah, Bruno, Xavi, Gibbs-White, Thiago, Bowen, and Watkins on your free hit. Salah, Bruno, Xavi, Gibbs-White, Thiago. Basically the main attacker from every team. So I wondered about doing that. And I do think if you are picking players from games which are not predicted to be as high scoring, so basically anything apart from Spurs, Liverpool or Arsenal, you probably should be just focusing on picking talisman in your team, right? So focusing on... does it not work anymore? You used to be able to split screens, but it doesn't let me do it. Into 4. One second. Oh, yeah, there we go. Got it working. So that's basically why I'm at where I'm at. I'm at where I'm at. 0.1 short. I mean, you don't need Virgil van Dijk on the bench with this draft, really. You can just downgrade whoever your first defender sub is. So, yeah, I mean, Van Dijk is probably a sensible pick, but Palace do have a good record against them. Oh, sorry. So that's why I'm not certain on Van Dijk. Only one Liverpool doesn't feel like the best and most sensible, option. Casemiro, again, has a very good record at home, but yeah. Gyökeres, big haul. If we knew Gyökeres definitely started, then yeah. I'm not a very good predictor of when teams score and don't know. I normally have a pretty bad track record on it. I don't have an issue with Illiman and Die. Nope, don't have an issue with it. Mbermo or Dewsbury Hall. Probably Mbermo over Dewsbury Hall. Isaiah, of course. Which two out of Xavi and Die and Wilson? Why Mavropanos over Van Dijk? I haven't locked in Mavropanos over Van Dijk. I think both are very likely to get DEFCON. I think Mavropanos slightly more likely to score. I think that's pretty level. I think they're both pretty similar in terms of what they offer. You say that Sarr could start, but Glasner said the full squad will be Sarr's 7 goals out of 9 matches versus Liverpool is a good differential to pick versus Gakpo. Yeah, I do expect Sarr to start. Just as much as we can think that they are going to play full strength, it doesn't mean they're as motivated as they could be. But I have no issue if you want to pick Sarr on free hit, but it means you can't pick Van Dijk, right? I would pick one or the two. Either you think they score or they don't. I think Mateus Cunha will probably start. I don't think I will pick him on free hit as a result. Don't think I'd pick him. Why not Pickford? Again, West Ham kind of need points in this game. So it feels like a bit of a risk to try and back a clean sheet against them. What do I think about Somerville or Bowen? Yeah, I prefer Bowen. Just more routes to points. And on penalties, I don't mind... yeah, don't mind it. Don't mind it. Sorry. Xavi, Ilman and Die and Wilson. Which two? I probably would bin Wilson. Xavi is absolutely locked for me. Saksham, wildcard 35. You've got 3 free transfers. Gordon to Salah, Haaland to who? Pedro, Chaël, also Cancel. I mean, Bowen, Solanke, Watkins, probably my top 3 forwards for this week. Yeah, start 2 of Dewsbury Hall, Thiago or Wilson. I probably would play Dewsbury Hall. It's quite close though. Again, this is it. I like Dewsbury Hall this week. I don't mind him. I wouldn't be selling him, but I still quite like what Mavropanos offers as well. Going Solanke over Thiago baffles me. He will outscore and his ownership will kill ranks. You could very well be right. Thiago is a more informed player. He has better form. It's just a slightly worse fixture. On free hit, you do chase the fixtures a little bit. And that's basically what I'm doing. Hoping that Solanke scores against Wolves and hoping that Thiago blanks. Yeah. Why is no one considering Wirtz? He's just slightly more expensive than both Gakpo and Szoboszlai, and his attacking returns don't warrant you spending that money on him, really. You should take Watkins out with his minutes risk. Aston Villa not focus on this match. They're still mathematically not guaranteed Champions League. I think there is still a pretty good turnaround. My perception of Villa is that from 35 onwards, it will be an issue for them. And rotation will mean you probably won't want Watkins or Rodgers. But I think it's fine for this week, particularly because the turnaround time is very lenient for them. Who would I pick if you had more money? I would have pretty much the same team. There's not a player I feel like I'm missing out on. Really? Yeah. There's not a player I feel like I'm missing out on. I'm not, yeah. I'm not, like, it's not that I'm missing out on someone. I would just probably do, like, Gakpo to Mbermo, which I can do if I sell Van Dijk. So it would probably just be making sure I can afford the starting 11 I wanted whilst also not having the cheapest bench possible, basically. Everton players. Yeah, again, if you think that Everton beat West Ham, then go Everton with no West Ham. I think that game might be quite low scoring, personally. Beto is out injured, so yeah, he's been ruled out. Did I burn a transfer this week? No, so I'm on free hit, so I don't get to use a transfer. I will have 5 transfers next week. Why 3 Spurs? Because they're playing Wolves. It is literally nothing more than that. It's literally nothing more than they're playing Wolves. I may well end up with only 2 of them in my team. Yeah, basically. How do I feel about Chris Wood? Will he start? Probably, but I still wouldn't be picking him. Away at Sunderland, I'm not sure I'd be picking him. That Gakpo midfield spot is the one that's most up for grabs. Best mids under 6 million on free hit. I mean, first of all, find some money for Xavi Simons. If not, Somerville, Garner, Dewsbury Hall, probably. Wilson, Gibbs, White, or Rice. If I was on free hit, I wouldn't be picking Rice. Now, he is more than capable of getting an assist, a free kick goal, and DEFCON, and it looking like a very good pick this week. But I wouldn't be picking Rice on free hit. Mavropanos and Wilson, or Ilman and Dye and Van Dijk. Probably in Dye, Van Dijk. Garner is a midfielder, or Konza, Van den Ven in defence. I probably would go Garner. Why Xavi Simons? Because he looked really good against Brighton, basically. Xavi Simons is such a reactionary pick, and Slanky and Gakpo are strange picks. Yeah, I mean, all of those comments are completely fair. Like, Gakpo and Slanky are not in good form, and Xavi just did points last week. It's more the basis of, I think we saw something from Spurs against Brighton that was much better than what we've seen before. And now they are playing a game which they have to win, so they have to go out there and score goals against the team that is bottom of the Premier League at the moment. Gakpo is in because his minutes look good. He's playing up front, and I don't know who else to pick there effectively. If there was someone I felt really strongly about in place of Gakpo, they would be in there in place of Gakpo. Kinski, first choice while Vicario is out. Yes, Gordon update. Gordon ruled out for Newcastle this weekend. Of course, Eddie Howe could well be playing one of his mind games. He's done it before, but it looks set that Gordon hasn't trained this week and will be out. Dallo worth a gamble? I think fine. I personally don't prefer him over Porro. So Porro, right? Let's talk about Porro. He is a huge data pick, and I'm not sure I completely agree with the data. 34% chance of a clean sheet this week, and he is a 33% chance of an attacking return this week, which is crazy to me. Crazy that he has that high projections this week. I don't really understand why it's quite as high. Like a 40% chance of a 35% chance of an attacking return and a 35% chance of a clean sheet. I mean, the data does point to him as a pick, but yeah. People are asking a lot about the Forest Sunderland game. So about Gibbs White versus a Sunderland defender. And the fact that people are considering both of these things is why I find it really difficult to pick any player from that game. For example, no one's picking a Palace player. No one's picking Newcastle. No one's picking Wolves. Apart from Wilson, like, no one's picking a Fulham defender. No one, a few people are picking an Everton attacker. But the issue with the Forest Sunderland game is people want things from both sides. Attackers from both sides, defenders from both sides, which means it's really difficult to know what we should expect in that game. Sunderland game just ended 4-3 last week and Gibbs White just scored a hat-trick. We should go for Gibbs White. Absolutely. But we are also in a position where we haven't massively wanted to target Sunderland away as a fixture for goals. So then if you don't want to target it, then are we wanting Gibbs White? Gibbs White also scored a hat-trick against Burnley. Burnley at home versus Sunderland away are two massively different fixtures. And the same thing for Sunderland. Away at Villa versus Forest at home are hugely different fixtures in terms of the projected number of goals and the way that the game could go. But that's my issue with that game in particular, and the why I haven't, I don't think Mukiele's a bad pick, and I don't think Gibbs White is a bad pick. But the fact that I don't know which of the ways I want to try and predict that game means I think it's quite difficult to go with. So, yeah, Sunderland playing for nothing, Forest playing to avoid relegation, but it also doesn't scream that there's going to be loads of goals in that game. Really. I wouldn't be surprised if that game's 1-0 either way, massively. So, yeah, there were quotes today, just someone asking about the backup goalkeeper situation, Alisson. There were quotes that Alisson could return, but it felt like a sort of passing comment from Arne Slot, rather than there was just actually any conviction in whether he was going to be back or not. He didn't seem any. It was sort of a throwaway comment when they were talking about Woodman and Mamadashvili. And he also said, oh, and Alisson's not far away. Let's see if tomorrow's okay for him. I don't think he'll play, which also makes me want to go and back against Van Dijk. If I get the Liverpool lineup tomorrow, and it is Woodman in goal, I will feel better about if I back against Van Dijk than if the team comes out and Alisson's in it. If I knew Alisson was available, I think Van Dijk. I think that is impacting my decision a bit. Tom, how's your draft looking? What team am I going in a last fan standing? I haven't actually looked at it. We're going to do last fan standing and FPL challenge after the deadline. Crazy how you won't back Gibbs White, but you've got 3 Tottenham. Again, it's the fixture they're playing against. Spurs go away to Wolves versus going away to Sunderland. These are hugely different fixtures in terms of potential. Yeah. And listen, if you think that picking triple Spurs on free hit is crazy, you are probably right. I am aware that I will probably have to do my video on Monday and say I picked triple Spurs and I got a red arrow because of it. But also, if you think that everyone doing it is crazy, it's a really good opportunity for you to go against it and do something completely different. Someone's saying Xavi Simons' minutes aren't great. They've been better. Okay, didn't start Sunderland. He was their best player on the pitch against Brighton. I have no... Yeah, if you want a reason to not pick Xavi Simons, it shouldn't be minutes, I don't think. Yeah. You have Gibbs White and Rodgers. I have no issue with them. Minutes, monsters. Pick players who play the most minutes. That's normally the best things to do. You've listed all of Rice's good qualities. So why am I saying he shouldn't be picked? Rice is a good pick. So... yeah, he has the ability to take a corner and score a free kick and get DEFCON, but he also might not do any of those things. Rice, the chance of Rice getting all of those things in a game is less than the chance of other things happening potentially. If they control the ball, is he definitely going to get DEFCON? Newcastle player back 5, is he... I mean, he might score a corner, free kick. These things are possible. Absolutely. If you think he's a good pick, go for him. There are lots of good picks on free hit. There are not many excellent picks. Watkins is such a momentum player. He can go 10 games without a goal and then score 5 in 3 matches. Yeah, my issue is I feel a little bit like we might have missed that. And it's the early kickoff as well, but oh well. I don't think I'm not going to have Watkins now. I'm pretty certain he's going to stay. I don't feel that much conviction on it, if I'm honest. But, yeah, he's probably going to end up there. I'm not going to go change. Like, if I drop a forward, for example, Solanke's going to go before Watkins. And as a result, I'm unlikely to change 2 forwards between now and the deadline, in which case Watkins is just going to stay. Am I 100% going triple Spurs? Am I staying triple Spurs? No. But I think Solanke and Xavi will stay. Solanke looked completely lost against Brighton. It's true. However, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the Wolves results recently, because I just want to... So we think Solanke's on pens, which is the first thing, right? Now let me actually go and find what I'm looking for. Right, here we go. Against Leeds, conceded a penalty, fine, and conceded to Okafor, again, a central player. West Ham, Castellanos, 2 goals. No one was picking Castellanos going into the Wolves fixture, but it's Wolves, right? And a striker has scored 2 goals. Brentford, Thiago goal. Liverpool. Okay, Salah. Jones scored from a central position. How do I see? Salah scored from a central position. Jones scored from a central position. Before that, it was... Oh, that was FA Cup anyway. Before that, they beat Villa 2-0. Maybe yeah. I mean, they do concede a lot of chances from central positions. We just know that. Xavi's had 190 in 8 games. How do I say X-Mins are okay? Just because, A, it was a different manager who didn't want to play Xavi. And De Zerbi has come in and said... The quotes from De Zerbi on Xavi Simons is like he's been playing with him for 10 years and he's his favourite player ever. Yeah. Declan Rice, good pick. No issue with it. I think I should make a list of players. Of good picks. No issue with it. I think we should make a list because I'm not picking Rice because I don't think he's a good pick. Right, in goalkeepers, the ones I would consider are Raya, Hermansen, Rolfs. Realistically, that's all I would pick in goal. Right? In defence, the ones I would pick are Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White. I would have Van Dijk, Porro, Mavropanos, or Mukiele, probably. Into midfield, I would have Bruno, Salah. I would have Gakpo, Cunha, and Burmo, Wilson, Gibbs-White, and Dye, Dewsbury, Hall, Szoboszlai. Did I put Rice on my list? No, Rice. Eze is a punt. Xavi. And forwards, I would have Bowen, Watkins, Solanke, Thiago. I don't mind the Sesko punt. I'm not picking Isak. Rodgers is fine in midfield, but as I said, my issue with Rodgers, I'll put him on the list because he's a fine pick. My issue is I think Watkins is a better pick and I only want one of them. Why does it keep trying to... This is... Right, apparently I can't have him in capitals, so that's going to... Richarlison, no. Wirtz, yeah, we can add Wirtz. Yeah, he's a fair shout. Gyökeres, yeah, that's fair. Well, no, it's just an easier way for me to say these are the players that I would consider on a free hit. Can I make stuff bold on this app? No. No. Havertz wouldn't pick. Wilson is on the list. Yep. Barry wouldn't pick. Hincapié. No, the list is not ranked. Casemiro, like I just probably wouldn't pick Casemiro. I also probably wouldn't pick Somerville. Like they could go on the list, but I'm just never picking them. I suppose what is this list? Is this the players that I would... I suppose this list is if you're picking... Yeah, I'm going to put Casemiro because he is a fine pick. Osula, I mean, no. Gibbs White is fine. He's on the list. Beto is injured, so no. Sarr, yeah. There are quite a lot of mids. Why does it not let me type Rogers? Can I call him Roger? Does it let me? Why? Why does it not let me? He's going to have two S's. Dango, like, not on free hit. Cheaper defenders, where it's Mavropanos, really. It's Mavropanos and Mukiele. Saka is back in training. I just don't think it's a guarantee he starts, having been out for so long. Tati, I probably wouldn't pick Tati. Saliba or White, since White is 1 million cheaper. I quite like Ben White as a differential. Oh, Brobby. Yeah. Enzo Lafie is fine. I don't particularly love it, though. Woodman, there is a chance that... Okay, it's... Yeah, like Woodman and Kinski, if you need them, but I wouldn't be relying on them to start because there is a chance neither of them start. Is Wirtz better than Gakpo? I don't think he massively is. I quite like Gakpo's positioning. No Pickford. Probably wouldn't pick him away at West Ham. Why not Isak? I mean, I know I'm gonna say something here which is massively contradictory, but Isak has failed the eye test more than any other player over the past few weeks. He has looked all over the place. He's not looked good at all. Now, I realise I've got triple Spurs in my team who have also failed the eye test, but I think that Spurs have passed the eye test more than Isak has. What about Somerville for Gakpo? I don't particularly love that. I don't think that game is that high scoring. Why is no one picking Gibbs White? I think it's the fixture. I think it's the fixture mainly away at Sunderland. And he's historically not been... Oh, is Vicario definitely out? Because if Vicario is definitely out, then we can put... Vicario is out. Okay. So if you need a cheap goalkeeper, it's Kinski. So that is probably a pretty complete... What happens if I do this? Hey. Wait. So this is where we're at. This is a pretty comprehensive list. Sells, I don't think Sells is... Like, he's not the best goalkeeper in that match. I'd rather the home goalkeeper in Rose. You put Gyökeres and not Watkins. It's hilarious. No, Watkins is there. Watkins is just below Gyökeres. It's not in order. It's not in order. Wolves are at home now. The home form is much better. I think that's fine. If you don't want to pick Spurs players, seems like quite a sensible opinion. Thiago for me with Bowen and Watkins. Again, I like Thiago. He's chasing a lot. Cunha ruled out. No, Cunha's not ruled out. I think he's probably too much of a risk to include on free hit now, though. Like, if you need a Man United midfielder, it's probably got to be in Burmo. Watkins or Bowen, I'd go Bowen. Only Spurs players you'd consider as Van de Ven. I think that's fair. Porro has looked very attacking. Why am I benching Van Dijk? He's just there because I did have him in my starting lineup and I took him out. So like it was like this, and then I just swapped it. Yeah. Xavi Simons or Declan Rice. Like on free hit, I'd go Xavi Simons. But if you don't have a free hit or you're just playing to the end of the season, then Rice. I think Havertz starts over Gyökeres. Like, this is it. This is why I don't have Gyökeres. This is also why I don't have Eze. People are saying Eze is going to start on the left, which means both Trossard and Martinelli are not going to start. Now, Eze could play in the 10, but that means that Odegaard's not going to start. But it could be Odegaard and Eze together, which means Zubamendi's not. There's just so much in that Arsenal team that I don't feel confident enough to pick any of them. Whereas I'm pretty confident that every player I've picked is going to start. I might end up being wrong, but I don't know who in my lineup is a massive risk for minutes. I feel like Eze still is. Like, people feel convinced on it, and that's fine. If you have more conviction on a free hit on a player than I do, then go for it. But Xavi or Slanky, I'd go Xavi first. I'd rather play 3-5-2 with Simmons than a 3-4-3 with Slanky. Xavi would be first in. He's the only Spurs player who's locked in my team. There's lots of people saying you can't be serious with triple Spurs. People asking what I'm drinking. I always drink squash during my stream, once it gets warmer. Sometimes I have a cup of tea to go with it. But Mavropanos or Van Dijk. So the interesting thing, there's loads of questions in the chat about Sarr because of his record. He's not predicting Gakpo to start. What are the Gakpo? Have we got the jump the wave predictions at the moment? Sorry, one sec. Someone at my door. Sorry, I'm back. Yeah, if we had the jump the wave predictions. Sesko is an interesting one. Sesko is really interesting. Yeah, we have. Right. Eze, 89%. Gyökeres, only 22%. So I probably wouldn't pick Gyökeres. Watkins, 100%. So you're right there. Liverpool. Gakpo is 83%. 3 of the, 12, 15 predictors have left out Gakpo in favour of it being Salah, Wirtz, Isak, Jones, Szoboszlai. Basically, Wirtz on the left. I don't love that. Probably not going to end up on him. The number 1 Liverpool predictor as well does not have Gakpo in the 11. He's gone Wirtz, Isak, Szoboszlai, Salah, McAllister, Gravenberch. Well, I mean, I'm not picking Gakpo after that. I mean, he's still 89%, 83%, which is pretty high, but that's low. Like, I didn't even think it was a possibility to have Wirtz left. I'd be surprised, but that's good for Szoboszlai, though. That's good for Szoboszlai. That, I mean, yeah, that I'm not going Gakpo. I was unlikely to do it anyway, but so, for example, this is what I would consider, and I would go Brian and Burmo in here, and that leaves me 5.7. I mean, I would change a few things around, right? So I'd go something. I'd go, oh, I can't even go with him because, I mean, if I'm not doing that, I don't want to put Woodman in just because. What's good for Szoboszlai? Oh, just if Gakpo doesn't start. Which it is, Gakpo's predicted at 83% to start for context. And then I would just go and put in anyone here, right? But then Mbeumo didn't start a couple of weeks ago. So, for example, I just go and put Ben White in here, right? Too many players from Arsenal. Oh, because I've got Max Dowman. Right. I just go and put in Mukiele, right? I can always change it back. So I do something like that. A United fan not convinced on Mbeumo at all. I think that's fair. I just don't know who to have in that final midfield spot. I know Gibbs White might just be the obvious one. Cunha, Eze, Thiago, Rice, Gibbs, White, Casemiro, 4-3. That's the other thing I could do, is I could just not bother with it and play Van Dijk. Yeah, it means I've only got one Liverpool. Like, I could just go Van Dijk and play a back four. I don't love it, but it's probably actually the way that ticks off most of the boxes for me. And yeah, I'm not going and if I'm going Mavropanos. If I don't go Mavropanos and I go Van Dijk, then I could go with Ndai and hope that they score. People saying Palace are leaky. They've conceded 1 goal in their last 3 games. Didn't concede to Leeds. Kept Fiorentina 3-0, conceded 1 to Newcastle, conceded twice to Fiorentina again in the Conference League, and then kept a clean sheet against West Ham. I'm not convinced on it. I mean, Szoboszlai, Sarr, like, I just don't. The mighty Leeds and West Ham, like, it is true. You're really backing triple Spurs. They haven't won this year. Gibbs White's in great form. It's just I don't like backing against Sunderland. That's basically it. I am on free hit. Yeah, I'm on free hit. I like Xavi. If I could recommend one Spurs player, it would be Simmons. We're just going to put it in subscribe only mode. You literally would have had to have subscribed for 1 second to start using the chat. And we are an hour into this stream and I haven't plugged likes or subscribes once during the stream because I always forget. So if you've got to this point, you've enjoyed this stream, please to drop a like. Completely free, helps out the channel, helps me out. And if you are new, drop a subscribe on the channel. We always do this. First hour of the stream is anyone can chat. Final hour is subscribers only. So drop a subscribe if you haven't. And if you already are and you still want to support, then please do like if you have not already. There are 6,000 of you who haven't liked the stream. Sesko, I don't mind. Yeah, triple Spurs is insane. Mukiele over Pedro Porro. Why remove Van Dijk? All of these are very reasonable questions. I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up on Solanke and Xavi Simons. I would say Salah, Bruno, Xavi, Solanke, Bowen, Watkins are locked. Gabriel is locked. Raya is locked. Pedro, Mavropanos or Van Dijk will make up 2 defenders. And then do I do something with the Mbeumo spot? Why am I scared of Sunderland? Because they've been good defensively for the most part. And Forest, although they put 4 past Burnley, I don't see them going absolutely charging in. Yeah, I don't see them going absolutely charging in to that game and trying to score loads of goals. Really. I mean, the Gakpo predicted lineup has spooked me a little bit, I have to admit. Gakpo will obviously play. I think he will. Why not Rodgers? Just because I don't want double Villa in that game. So, yeah. I mean, I could go no Watkins and go Harry Wilson instead. But Villa feel like they're in quite good form. Gibbs White on pens. It could be Chris Wood. I think Chris Wood is actually first choice when he plays. But at the moment, based on current form and fitness, I wouldn't be surprised if Gibbs White take it. Van Dijk will score a header. Maybe I just play about 4. It's really boring though. I've banged on all week about not having boring picks on free hit. On free hit. And then I'm going to end up on a back 4. Pick Lamans? Probably not. Why am I choosing Solanke over Richarlison? Just Richarlison's minutes recently. He's not really started games. And again, De Zerbi's been pretty positive on Solanke. If I have Salah and Szoboszlai, you could cover Van Dijk's headers. Yeah, true. But then it's still hurting a lot, isn't it? At least it's not hurting quite as much. Mbeumo worth transferring out? No. Well, he's in my free hit at the moment, so no. Can't believe you're trusting Spurs with a triple up. If it doesn't work, you can probably celebrate them being relegated. Well, there is that. I am supporting Forest in the relegation scrap because Holly, of course, supports them. And I've got triple Spurs, double West Ham, which is interesting. So I think Spurs will batter Wolves. No, but Spurs could win. How am I going to say this right? Spurs could win 2-0. Porro clean sheet, Xavi assist, Solanke goal. And I'd probably take that. I would definitely take that. Like, Porro's been so attacking. I think a triple up might be too much, but I don't know who I'm going to drop. So here's the way it works. I prefer Xavi to the others. I prefer Porro to Solanke, but the alternatives to Porro feel better than the alternatives to Solanke. So I'm reluctant to take Porro out when I think Solanke is better, but I don't really want to play a 4-4-2 with Van Dijk over Solanke. I mean, there were no real updates on... no real updates on Xavi Simons in the press conference, so we're just presuming he's fine. Wolves' recent home games are good. Yeah, I get that. Cunha just wasn't pictured in training again today, so I feel like I've got to take him out. Mavropanos is a risk. I mean, he's been very good recently, and he's had crazy goal threat. He was pictured arriving at training, yeah, but players go into recovery. Like, we know he's had recovery sessions, so he's been pictured arriving all week, and we still haven't seen a picture of him actually in training yet. Mid for 5.5 or less is probably Dewsbury Hall. Please don't forget Why not captain Salah? Why not captain Salah? Salah's my second choice. So someone said, Achahan, please don't forget that you have visually impairment in your followers. As a genuine question, I would love to know what I could do to make my streams more accessible. Is it easier for me to read stuff out? I will look out for a comment from you, but anything that you could genuinely let me know would be actually quite very useful, because there's probably things that I do just as second nature which don't help. So yeah, anything you could say would be well received. Why not Gyökeres? So there's concerns about Havertz versus Gyökeres starting. Newcastle are bad, but they do score. Yeah, Newcastle look all over the place. They're all over the place. We're close to my final draft. Last chance to ever captain Salah, do it. I mean, I understand that. Yeah, it probably is. Why is Morgan Rogers not in my top 5? Just because he's not been the best pick as of the past month, probably. I don't have that much desire to have Rogers for this week alone. In a vacuum, do I think Solanke really outscores Thiago? That is a question I didn't think I'd be asking. Probably not. Probably not, but like, I am on a free hit, and there is part of me that wants to go for the upside picks. Really. Yeah, I was listening to one of James's pods from Planet FPL today. I didn't know he's going Isak, Sesko, Gyökeres. Go for it. Hard for either to score in a vacuum. Yeah, you're right there. Hail Mary team without Salah chasing points. Triple Arsenal defence. Solanke, Xavi Simons, Salah, Gakpo, Szoboszlai, Bruno, Cunha, Sesko. 3-5-2. Oh, no Salah. Gakpo, Szoboszlai, Bruno and Burmo, Xavi midfield 5, Solanke, Sesko front 2, triple Arsenal defence, and Porro. Nick. On a free hit and feeling lost, you're at 400k, lowest ever. If I didn't care about EO and rank, I'd pick and cap Bruno. But I feel I need to man up and go against Bruno Gabriel. Please pick the likes of Sesko. So, in my complete guide video today, Salah predicted to score the most goals as a team. He has the highest chance of a goal and an assist, and he's predicted by Fantasy Football Scout to be the highest scoring player this week. I wouldn't captain Salah over Bruno, but there are grounds to do it. You can't afford Gabriel, though I think Hincapié is a good alternative. I probably would go Ben White. Probably. As a team, true, but I mean, yeah. I mean, I could end up on Szoboszlai. I don't want Rice and Szoboszlai. Like, I'm not going Declan Rice. Yeah, 3 Spurs players, 24 hours to go until the what was I thinking tweets. Right. I do want to talk... Right. So I want to talk about... So... if I go last six matches, and I want to have a look at some of the defensive data. Why in Burma over Cunha? Just Cunha hasn't been pictured in training, which doesn't feel particularly great. Yeah. Spurs have to win, like they do. If Spurs lose this, they're as good as, I would say they're almost as good as down. Issue is Cunha's not ruled out, so it doesn't mean you can go for Cunha or Sesko, because there is still a slight risk, because he might well be back. He probably will be back. I just don't know what to do about that spot. I've sort of convinced myself not to go with Van Dijk now. And I know he's great at set pieces, and maybe that's going to come back to bite me, but yeah, I mean, they've conceded 66 crosses from the right flank, Wolves, and Porro just spams them on that side. Key passes on the right again, they're right up there. They have the most errors leading to goals. So if we go to player stats and we look over the same time period, and we go outfield players. I think it's in set pieces, I'm pretty sure Porro is top. I want like last 6 matches, for example. Interesting. He's slightly lowered. He's taken. Hang on. What am I doing wrong? I can't work out what filter I've put in wrong. But I know that Porro's taken a lot of corners and a lot of crosses recently, which just helps his creativity. Also, he almost scored twice. Gibbs White. I mean, people in the chat are loving Gibbs White, so I've got no issue with Gibbs White over Mbeumo. People saying I wouldn't go double United fans wouldn't go double United. Yeah, not being funny, but you could filter by any stat to create a narrative against Wolves. You are right. The issue is trying to create a positive for Spurs, which is less easy to do. Porro will concede, quite possibly. But his goal threat was so good in that game. No, we haven't had the double of Man City announced yet. Yeah. I love how every fan is telling me not to pick their players. Anyone who's actually a fan of their team want me to pick some of their players, then let me know. Double Villa is the move. I don't think I'm going to go double Villa. I don't think I'm going to pick Rodgers. If Klopp was still manager, would I captain Salah? Potentially. Yeah. Potentially, yeah. You're a United fan and you pick Sesko. Wolves 1-0 is going to be absolute cinema. Go Van Dijk. How do I feel about Casemiro? Casemiro's home record is great. I think it's really difficult to predict Casemiro's hauls, but he's been very good at home. Right. I mean, Mbeumo is not the one, basically, is what everyone is telling me. Right. So I'm going to take him out anyway. Right. Let's try something different and go. Can I afford? I can. Right. Who did I put in? I think Gakpo probably does start. I've got no reason to think that Gakpo doesn't start. He's playing 90 every week. Gakpo's coming back in. I don't mind Sarr, but I'm not going to pick him, basically. I mean, we're going back to where we were, right? Yeah, only after Liverpool's top predictor reckons he's benched, I know. I mean, I could play a back four and just do this. Is it really boring? Is it really boring? What is the state of this free hit? You would love to hear my reasoning. Sarr hasn't started the past 2 games. He's obviously being saved for Europe. As much as I think he probably does start and Palace will put out a full strength team, they are not focusing in on the Premier League as much as they have done, is basically it. And as much as I think Palace probably do score, I'm not sure they score more than 1. Compare Gakpo's recent points to Morgan Gibbs-White. Yeah, Morgan Gibbs-White's got more recent points than Gakpo, but he scored a hat-trick against Burnley. So that is just a huge impacting factor. I mean, even outside of that, his recent points are still better. But if he hadn't have played Burnley at home, then... But it's like... I completely get the Gibbs-White pick, but people are saying don't pick Porro and don't pick pick Xavi because it's recency bias. But so is Gibbs-White. If Gibbs-White hadn't have just scored a hat-trick, people wouldn't want him either. I don't think you can risk playing Porro and Mavropanos. Both have high ceilings, but both can concede. More likely to get something back from another mid. I mean, starch, bench, sell, different squash flavors. I always go like a berry flavor, always. Orange squash is overrated. Everyone said Palace are only bothered about Europe, but then they beat Newcastle in the Prem easy. I mean, Newcastle have been all over the place. But yes. Gibbs-White's recent form is still good. He's still in better form than Gakpo is. Yeah, no, the issue is I can't use anything as an argument for against a player because I've got triple Spurs in my team who haven't won this year. So I can't say I don't like this player because then everyone just goes, well, you got triple Spurs and they're even worse than that player, which is probably fair. Like, who's in better form, this player or Spurs? Well, the other player. Who's in better form, player Y or Spurs? Well, other player, obviously. Sorry, for anyone not from the UK, squash is like cordial. It's what you put in water to make it taste of something else, but not juice, right? Because you put all water and then just a little bit. That's what we call squash. Yeah. Fixtures over form only goes so far. Spurs are truly dreadful. Like, we never take a Burnley or Wolves attacker. I think we're just picking Spurs based on name recognition. Listen, you're probably right, but they did play quite well against Brighton. Yeah, it's weird because at the beginning of the week, all my questions on my videos were, why didn't I have more Spurs players? And now I've got more Spurs players. Everyone says I've got too many Spurs players. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I should, I mean, I just like Mavropanos as a pick. I like him more than I like Van Dijk. I just think this is probably where I'm going to end up. Hope that Palace score double Liverpool, double West Ham, triple Spurs, double Arsenal, Bruno. Yeah, drop a like. That would be helpful. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah. 2 is enough. Spurs are a good differential. Van Dijk over Gakpo 100%. Wolves play way better at home. Spurs will get relegated. Have conviction in your picks. You have them for a reason. I don't have that much conviction about some of my players, if I'm honest. I actually have more conviction about the potential of the Spurs players than I do about most others. I think I probably will end up on triple Spurs. I don't know how much I love Gakpo. But I quite like then if I take Gakpo out, I've only got one Liverpool, which also doesn't feel right, but it shouldn't be picked based on teams. It should be picked based on players. Watkins or Gyökeres, probably Watkins. When Solanke blanks, I'll blame you. He quite possibly will, although he almost had an assist for Xavi Simons at the weekend. Xavi Simons hit the post and then Porro put it over. Could have been any measure of Solanke goal, Solanke assist, Xavi goal, Xavi assist, Porro goal. He was playing right wing, effectively. As a Liverpool fan, pick Szoboszlai. My issue with Szoboszlai is he scored one open play goal. He scored one open play goal. Basically. But I'm interested that all the predictions do have him in midfield. Like, none of them have him playing at right back. None of them have him playing at right back, so... What is the Liverpool... Frimpong 72%, but that's not even locked in, right? And Burmo or Gakpo? I mean, probably. I don't know the answer to that. I would favour probably Gakpo. But it's very close. Solanke injured half the season, unfair comparison. Yeah, but he has not been great recently. As a West Ham fan, I have to go against Forest and Spurs. No players on my free hit from those teams. That's fine. You won't pick Szoboszlai because he scored one open play goal, but Solanke has only scored 3 goals total this season. Yeah, again, this is my issue. I can't use data or I can't use anything as a reason. I mean, he was injured, right? So Szoboszlai's played way more minutes. But I can't use anything as an argument against anyone because the same argument is a valid reason not to pick any Spurs players. You're on a free hit and you have relatively low team value. I'd probably bin Watkins. Or you take Gakpo out and you just go someone cheap in that spot. Watkins or Gakpo would be where I'd get the money from, I think. Basically. I don't mind triple Arsenal defence. Yep, no issue with that. I'd go Ben White probably and hope he starts at right back. Gabriel Raya, or you just go Saliba over Ben White. Is Isak worth a punt? Not really. I haven't seen anything from him to convince myself of it. Wino 352. I actually quite don't mind this. I don't have enough midfielders that I love. I actually have less midfielders than defenders and forwards that I love. Wirtz or Gakpo, not much to pick between them, to be honest. Luck of the draw, really. Gakpo has only returned double digits twice this season. Yeah, but he is Arne Slot's man at the moment. But yeah, you're not wrong. There's not much to pick between a lot of these players. Like, this issue with free hit as well, because you're picking a player specifically for 1 week, whereas over 5 weeks, Gakpo versus Wirtz will probably be pretty level. What will probably happen is one will score and one will blank this week. Yeah. Gibbs White, again, like over 5 weeks, will probably get a pretty good score, but it's trying to predict in any specific week for them to do well. Gakpo won't start, Rio will. I don't think that will be the case. I don't think Rio and Isak will both start. In terms of those of you not on free hit, the key players that I'd be looking to target. I mean, if you're on wildcard 35, I don't mind a 1 week punt on a Solanke or a Xavi Simons. I like Bruno, I like Salah, I like Bowen. Again, it's the players who are nailed on the free hit. If you need cheap defenders, Mavropanos. If you've got the money, Porro, Van Dijk. It's basically which of these players do you prioritize if you're looking to make a transfer. Harry Wilson is still a great pick this week. No issues with Harry Wilson. Palace always give it 100%. That's my thinking. Maybe Szoboszlai is just boring, but then should I just go Van Dijk? And just hope that it is a low-scoring game. How am I sure that Xavi is playing? Just he was the best player against Brighton, basically. Nothing more than that. Like, I don't know. There was no real mention of him in the press conference about injuries or anything, so we're just presuming he's fine. I would want a good first sub if you're on free hit this week. We've got half an hour to go until the deadline, so if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe. Free hit is active. So, Villa, Forest are nearly safe and should have an eye. Absolutely. I couldn't disagree more. Forest are still bang in it. They have Sunderland away, Chelsea away, United away, Newcastle at home, and Bournemouth at home. They could easily not pick up another point between now and the end of the season and go down. They are not out of it yet. Absolutely not. Why am I starting Mavropanos over Van Dijk? Now, I mean, when you put it like that, but I think Palace score, and Mavropanos' goal threat is so good at the moment. Everton have conceded quite a lot of goals to centre-backs this season. Just put Morgan Gibbs-White instead of Xavi and everyone will be quiet. Xavi's definitely not going. It would be in place of Gakpo if I went with him. They ideally need to smash Sunderland. No, they take any points from this game, I think. I haven't done my last fan standing pick. I don't know who it's going to be yet. It might be Arsenal. I haven't used them yet. Who's playing right back for Arsenal? Probably Ben White. It could be someone else, but probably Ben White. Hermansen, a good differential for Raya. Yep. He's probably one of the goalkeepers I have considered this week. As a United fan, pick Thiago. I'm not going Thiago, I don't think. Saka coming back with a bang this week. I just don't think it's guaranteed that he's definitely going to start. I need to pick that spot and then I just have to decide on my defender. People think he'll be more scary at right back. Then maybe Ben White is too much of a risk. Maybe just go Saliba then. Why not Gyökeres? Because Kai Havertz could easily start. Elliot Anderson, I mean, he'll probably, yeah, you're probably right. He probably will outscore all of the defenders I'm considering. I mean, I could just end up on Szoboszlai. That's so boring, though. He is just a better... Is his DEFCON really good recently? No, he didn't get DEFCON against Everton. He got the assist. Got DEFCON against Fulham, Brighton, Spurs, and Wolves. Did he get DEFCON against Palace earlier in the season? Yeah, but he was playing right back at that point, wasn't he? It's about time someone said your deadline timer is a minute off. I get this question almost every week. My deadline timer is deliberately a minute off. So that people think the deadline is a minute earlier and no one actually misses the deadline. Because when the deadline timer hits, if you then go and try and check your team, then you're going to have missed the deadline. So I set it a minute earlier so that you don't miss the deadline. Am I against Everton attack? Am I against Everton attack? Not against it, but I'm probably going to end up with Mavropanos, in which case I am then not going Everton attack. Is it a good idea to play no Arsenal defence? I mean, they're top for clean sheet projections this week, but if you're convinced and you want to gamble that they don't, it's a huge differential, right? I'm not against Everton attack, just I'm going Mavropanos, so I'm not going to pick an Everton attacker, basically. And Everton are weaker without Beto playing, who is out for the game. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go Mavropanos. I'm pretty sure I'm going to bench Van Dijk. It's Van Dijk versus Porro. I'm pretty sure with Beto out injured, I'm going to go Mavropanos. He's been in my team all week. I don't plan on taking him out now, which means it's Van Dijk versus Porro, or it's Van Dijk versus the mystery midfielder who I haven't decided on with 24 minutes to go between now and the deadline. So it's effectively 3 spots, right? And 2 of them are going to start. It's Porro, it's Gakpo, and it's Van Dijk, or it's another midfielder. Yeah, if I'm benching Van Dijk, I'll probably sell him and upgrade the bench. This is my last chip to play. This is my last chip. Worth keeping Kelleher for info on doubles or go Raya. I probably would go Raya. Like, if you can do Kelleher to Raya. The Arsenal run-in, if you've got no wild card, then yeah, I'd probably go Raya. The run-in for Arsenal is great. Why is nobody mentioning Dewsbury Hall is on my list? So those people asking about this player or that player, this is my rough list of players I personally would consider on free hit this week. Am I confident of a top 10k finish? I don't think I'll finish top 10k. I haven't thought that for a while. I'm as close as I've ever been, but with no chips left, it would be a surprise now. Yeah. I mean, I'll keep trying for it, but I'm not going to put everything on the line and risk dropping rank. Keep strong. I just really don't like this spot. Like, Gakpo's been rubbish. Like, his points are pretty bang average. Like, his data's fine. His data is nothing special. Palace defensively have looked pretty good over the past few games. Gibbs White. I know Gibbs White is right there. Go Wilson or Gibbs White. I mean, is Gibbs White just really, really boring? Sunderland are just good at home. I don't love Gakpo though. Are there any Forest fans in the chat? Do you think Gibbs White will take a pen over Chris Wood? I am. Gibbs White. Absolutely not. Wood will if he's off on the pitch. Is Gibbs White boring? I've heard Anderson all season. How much is Gibbs White? Scored away at City, scored against Brighton. He scored against Spurs, and he scored a hat-trick against Burnley. I would then also upgrade Mavropanos to Hermansen. I don't like the Friday night, and I don't like Watkins being on the 12:30. And Dye or Wilson, I probably would go Wilson out of the two. Yeah, Chris Wood might not even be on the pitch. I don't know. The issue with Gibbs White is I don't love him as a pick this week. So I think Sunderland. I just don't expect loads of goals in this game. Really. But there aren't loads of games I do expect a load of goals in. How about West Ham? I've got my strikers locked in. My strikers, my Salah, my Bruno, Xavi Simons. I think Mavropanos, Gabriel Raya are locked. I say I think because Mavropanos maybe isn't. I could just go Szoboszlai. Saka as a punt. I don't think he's guaranteed to start. (4-4-2). I mean, I could just play Van Dijk. I just don't see them scoring enough goals tonight. I just don't see them scoring enough goals. That's been my opinion all week. How do I... I hate this spot in my team. Do I just... I mean, Szoboszlai, again, like, really? I don't love the Gakpo pick. Do I just play Van Dijk? I'm not going Rice. Rice is definitely not going in. Cunha. Like, even when he's getting returns, which is not that often, it's not like a goal. Elliot Anderson and just take the DEFCON. Rice. But again, like, what? I mean, he could score, but day is rubbish for him. It's getting worse as well. Has to be Gakpo and die. I'm not going and die. That's pretty certain. Harry Wilson. Yeah. I don't want a double up in that game, though. Really. I don't see it being like a 3-3 game. Cunha and just have Van Dijk first sub. I'm not going Saar. I'm not going Madueke. I haven't decided if I'm starting Mavropanos. Part of me fancies gambling against. I don't think it's the sensible thing to do, but gambling against the Liverpool defence. But it's not something I normally think is a particularly good idea. Again, particularly because Palace takes so many long throws. That means Van Dijk's very, very likely to get DEFCON in this game. Is the mic extra loud, is it? Let me move it away. Sorry if that's not what you want to hear. Lots of people going Rice over Watkins. Yeah, I don't hate it. They're all pretty 50-50 picks, aren't they? Giandre, wildcard 35, 3 free transfers. You can do Gordon, Haaland to Salah, Watkins, and bench Dango, or just do Gordon to Gakpo. I would want Salah, so if that's the way to get Salah, then yeah, I probably would, if you've got the free transfers for it. I don't want Gibbs White in there. It's not going to be Gibbs White, I don't think. Eze. Loads of people are saying Eze. I'm just not convinced he definitely starts, so no. Just keep Gibbs White, triple Spurs. I don't think I'm going to end up with Gibbs White. Gibbs White just went in just to test the water and see how I felt, and I don't love it particularly. The Cunha would be the one that I'd want, but I'm just not sure how convinced I can be that he definitely plays. Because he was pictured arriving at training, so he probably is going to be okay. Yeah. anything. I mean, the training photos are just not helpful. Like, he's just not in them. Right, I really need to make a decision now. Gakpo, safe minutes, striker, and game time. Maybe I just end up back on Gakpo. I'm just going to leave Gakpo in until I find something I like more than it. I don't love Sarr enough. Like, I know he has a good record against them. He hasn't started the past couple of games. He probably will start this, but I'm not so in love with backing against Liverpool that I want to start picking Palace players, I don't think. Yeah. I don't love Gakpo. Don't see loads of goals in this game. But if he's going to start off the left and then play up front, like, it's just... Yeah. Or I just go Szoboszlai. Surely Saka starts. Not guaranteed. But at least the benefit with double mids is I covered the clean sheet if they were to get one. Verts. Don't love... I like Verts isn't in particularly great form either. Am I going to get... If you're going to get Szoboszlai, why not Rise? Szoboszlai's DEFCON numbers are better. We think there's a chance Szoboszlai takes pens. And yeah, basically that. Surely Szoboszlai over Gakpo. Go Szoboszlai, don't overthink it. Szoboszlai over Gakpo. Gibbs White. You're picking Anderson. I'm not going to pick Anderson, but I do love Elliot Anderson. Although it looks like he might be on the move. So I might not have to love him as much, which will be a shame. Cunha's the one I want. I mean, I could just have Cunha and then I just have Van Dijk first sub. Just not really convinced. But then I've only got... Cunha's just not been pictured in training. It just doesn't... No, and Burmo looks fine. He's pictured in training. But like... I can't pick Szoboszlai. I've said it all along. He's had one open play goal all season. I would use a transfer on a goalkeeper, yeah. What's Oscar done? Oscar's posted his team. He's going Rice, Szoboszlai. And Thiago. Interesting. People saying go Casemiro. What are Casemiro's DEFCONs like? Oh, wow. His returns are pretty good. His returns are much better than I thought they've been. Can I really pick Casemiro, though? Like, can I pick Casemiro over Van Dijk, really? Do I just play a back four? I am swiftly running out of time here. Do I just play a back four? Like, do I just leave it as this and just hope? Because I don't particularly love Gakpo. I don't love the Gakpo pick, and I don't love Szoboszlai pick. Yeah, Wilson could be on pens. Do I just go Harry Wilson? Villa have just shipped. I don't like Gakpo. I don't like Szoboszlai. I can't trust Mateus Cunha. So I'm not going to go Gibbs White. I don't mind Wilson. People saying he could be on pens. It's then Wilson versus Van Dijk, right? I don't particularly like having double up in that game. That's what I've said, and I still agree with it. I just don't think, like, Gakpo's goal threat, he's not been particularly great recently. Fulham haven't looked particularly great, like, themselves. Wilson or Van Dijk. That is it. That is the final decision. It is Wilson or it is Van Dijk. Is it Wilson? Wilson was in my first draft. You've never seen me suffer so much. You haven't tuned into the game week one actually, maybe game week one I'm normally more calm. Trust me, there have been weeks I've suffered. Yeah, Wilson's form is gone, but it went and it came back again, right? Like, it went for a bit here and people thought his form was gone, and then he came back because he had good fixtures. Villa... Cunha's just not being pictured in training. Why don't go Van Dijk? He'll pick up a yellow card. I mean, it doesn't put me off picking a player. You feel like we're playing hopeful here. What, since the international break, he's not been as good? Casemiro, Cunha. I mean, Brentford have been better defensively, no? Clean sheet, clean sheet, clean sheet. Conceded twice at home. They've actually been much better away from home, which I suppose is where they are. Van Dijk, DEFCON. I've only got a minute until the deadline. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, actually. How much have I got in the bank? I've got loads in the bank, so I can just upgrade Dowman to someone. How much have I got there? Why can't I see how much I have? 5.8. So let's just put Elliot Anderson in because he's a goat. And then we'll put him above. Right, I mean, that is literally going to be the deadline. I've still got Wilson in. And I think we're going to leave it. I mean, I don't know. The Wilson pick will be what it will be. My free hit is active. Everyone check that your chip is definitely active. Final minute before the deadline. We're going to lock it in. Bruno captain, Salah vice. First sub, Van Dijk. Hope that Liverpool score. Hope that Palace score, sorry, and Liverpool don't. I've ended up with only one Liverpool player. I don't know how I feel about this. It's only really one spot. It was the Wilson, it's going to be Wilson, Van Dijk, Gakpo, Szoboszlai, basically, and Cunha, probably. It's those 5 players. It's which one of them I should have picked. Szoboszlai probably was the safest pick and maybe the one I should have ended up on. But I have had a bit of talk about Wilson in behind that Villa line. So that's where we ended up. That's the team. I've gone and benched Van Dijk and I've just taken that gamble. Yeah. I don't know. The game is updating. We got a few things. Let me just tweet my team. I feel a little... I don't like the free hit because you're making too many different individual choices in... you're making too many individual choices at the same time. Basically. Which I find difficult. Game week 34 team. I'm not sure about that Wilson pick, but Let's see. I mean, if Watkins and Wilson both blank in that game, then I'm in serious trouble. But if one of them was to do something, then it would be fine. Listen, I've just taken a gamble that Palace score. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this, but we need to move on. Alas, right. First things first. First thing is first. Oh, I'm logged in. And then the other thing we need is last fan standing. There's no club deadline tonight because the deadline was Tuesday. So I don't need to do my team for that. So let's go and cool. Last fan standing and fantasy challenge. Yeah, Van Dijk bullet header loading. Well, you know what happens? What's this? Players who collect the maximum bonus points. Well, for anyone who knows how this works, knows exactly what this team is going to look like. Yeah, I don't know about the Wilson one. I feel like I've panicked on that. Oh, too many players. Okay, well, it's got to be Gibbs White. Cunha. I should have just gone Cunha, I think. Who else is there? I can't go Szoboszlai. Illiman and Dye up front. Thiago in goal. Let's go Robin Roofs. Van Dijk captain. Next up is last fan standing. Who are people picking in this? Who are people choosing? Spurs. I'm not choosing Spurs. I chose Fulham, then I picked West Ham, then I picked Forest. I'm not picking Spurs. I think I'll probably end up on Arsenal. I think Arsenal's probably the sensible choice here. That don't love. That I don't love. That I could pick Liverpool. That I don't love. That I don't love. And that I think it has to be Arsenal for me. I think it needs to be Arsenal. Liverpool, I could go Liverpool. Could go Liverpool. Man U. Could also go Man U. Watch out for Burnley Arsenal fixture. Oh, yeah, that's true. In game week 37, if I was to get there, Arsenal have Burnley at home. There are some other games that I could pick there, but maybe United's better. Yeah, the thing is, Arsenal are useful in that game week 37 week. So maybe it needs to be United. Maybe I just go United and keep Arsenal for later down the line. It's not great being a Chelsea fan at the moment, if I'm honest. It's slightly better that after we sacked Rossini, but it's still pretty dreadful. We are all over the place. Players look like they don't want to be there. Players not playing particularly well, dropping points, not scoring goals. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, United, I could go Liverpool. I think Liverpool probably do win. Chelsea will probably finish in the top 10, yeah. I could go Liverpool. But Palace have won their last game. I think I'm going to stick with United. I don't think I'm going to go Liverpool because Palace have quite a good record against them. Who do I want as the next Chelsea manager? I mean, it depends. I wouldn't mind Fabregas, but I would like someone with more experience, who I don't really know is out there at the moment, and Premier League experience, which just doesn't really exist. Yeah. Like, people are talking about Alonso, Fabregas, Iraola. Like, Iraola has Premier League experience, but not like testing Premier League experience. But there isn't loads to pick from. Like Iraola, but he's never had to play. I mean, we might not be in Europe, so it might be fine. But there's no one with great Premier League 3 games a week experience. So I don't particularly like. I'd take Luis Enrique, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe someone with an assistant who's got Premier League experience. Maybe the manager doesn't have to have it, but I need some, Premier League experience in the vicinity somewhere. No, they haven't phoned me yet. They haven't. Yeah. Yeah, not much good if I'm not in game week 37. That is also true. Palace have too good a record. I could go Arsenal, but do I want Arsenal in 37? I take Luis Enrique, yeah. I'm going to stick with Arsenal, and I'll find someone else in 37 if I need to. Chelsea have got Spurs at home in 37. I'll just pick that. I will just pick that. Right. This is where we ended up. I feel like I should have gone boring in that Wilson spot and gone for someone like Szoboszlai. No, I don't think Sunderland lose at home. I used Forest last week. I'm picking Arsenal this week. I used Forest in 33. Going Arsenal. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Friday evening. Thank you all very much for joining. Let's see how this goes. And we'll be back for game week 35 with the transfers and everything. I'm not going Ange. I'm not having Ange. On that note, on that bombshell, the chat suggesting that Chelsea should get Ange as their manager. That is not happening. Have a good one, everyone. Have a lovely weekend. Good luck with your game weeks. Hopefully it goes well. And yeah, I will catch you all very soon. Bye.